funny is that yesterday Comey does this op-ed in the WAPO that sounds like a scorned lover, helpless, vulnerable, pathetic. And the very next morning, Mueller pulls this and comes out on camera. And he's all stuttering and can barely breathe and seems really scared. I know they're really good friends, which makes Mueller should have been fired, should have never been on them. He's supposed to be unbiased. I know they're friends, but do you think they're lovers? Listen.
Good afternoon. First, I want to thank Special Counsel Robert Mueller for his service to our nation over the past 2 years.
Oh, good job.
Mr. Mueller and his team of prosecutors and investigators
unbiased.
worked tirelessly to follow facts and pursue justice to the furthest extent.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The Department of Justice policy prevented the Special Counsel from bringing criminal charges against the President. The Special Counsel has clearly demonstrated that President Trump is lying.
Absolutely.
Lying about the Special Counsel's
Absolutely.
findings. Lying about the testimony of key witnesses in the Special Counsel's
findings,
report.
witnesses.
Above all, lying and saying that the Special Counsel found no obstruction and no collusion.
Because there was no obstruction or collusion. Evidence listed in the report. That's interesting how when you say that, now he could say that just because it wasn't in the report and Mueller did not offer any evidence of obstruction or collusion. All that time was it 1,400,000 documents, over 500,000 witnesses or 500 witnesses they asked, all that stuff, and was it 22 months, almost 2 years of the investigation, all that, and he didn't find one scintilla. Because if he did, you would think he would bring it, because you see, a prosecutor is not the trial, and the FBI cannot exonerate or indict. Well, no, they can indict. They're like the police, right? I'm confused in all this. It seems like Sancticomey. Sancticomey called himself. He was like St. Thomas Becket, who was murdered because he wouldn't go along with what the king wanted him to do. See, Thomas Becket was the king's friend, Henry, and Henry made him the archbishop because he wanted him to. The people will listen to a religious figure. They might not listen to the king. So if the religious figure, the head of the church, if you don't do what he tells you to do, then you're not going to go to heaven, you're going to go to hell. So that's how the king wanted to force his ways on the people, to kind of control them. And Becket wouldn't do what the king wanted him to do. So the king, he wanted to do what God wanted him to do. He actually wanted to follow the Bible. So the king sent out assassins, and while he was praying in church, he was stabbed to death. And as he lay dying, he said, "Poor Henry." It's a great movie. It's starring Richard Burton and S. Becket.
Peter O'Toole.
Great movie. Wonderful. But you see, Comey said that that's what he feels like. He feels like the church made him a saint, Thomas Becket, because, and Trump is the king that had him murdered because he was trying to follow God's laws. And so Comey, I suppose, is trying to follow God's laws. That's why he had all the evidence as FBI director. See the FBI director? FBI is like the police, and the special prosecutor is like the district attorney. The district attorney indicts, but the district attorney cannot exonerate. Only a trial by jury or by judge can exonerate. So the district attorney, when he says, the special prosecutor says, I cannot exonerate, because he can't. That's the law. You see, that's the law. The law says that as if the district attorney, when the police brought in a criminal, which is what the FBI does, they gather evidence. They've got detectives. They gather the evidence, and they bring it to the prosecutor, which is the district attorney, and he's the prosecutor, right? And he will recommend it. He will indict, and he will recommend that it go to a trial. You see, the FBI just gathers evidence. They do not exonerate, and they don't make a recommendation not to prosecute a case, because they're not prosecutors. Comey isn't a prosecutor. So I don't know which Bible he's reading, but he's not reading the laws as set. But he recommended no reasonable prosecutor would bring charges, would indict, bring charges against Hillary Clinton, even though he read the Riot Act and listed before all the cameras in a press conference, which is something that the FBI is not supposed to do. They're not supposed to do this in front of a press conference, by press conference. You're not supposed to list somebody's, if you bring in a criminal, you don't come before the press and list all their crimes and then say, I recommend, I would not recommend indicting this person, which is not his job. But I think he thinks he is God. That's why people call him Sancticomey, like sanctimony. So he listed Hillary Clinton. They had all the evidence. They had the evidence of the smashed Blackberries, which when she was Secretary of State, one of her security advisors told her that a Blackberry was not secure and to get rid of it. Judicial Watch found that out. So that's true. She was told, and Obama knew about the private server in her basement, in the bathroom of her basement, and that Obama, we had the emails that Obama used a alias name, and he said he didn't know anything about it, even though it was like, like the email address was like Ma and Pa Clinton. It wasn't .gov, it was at Ma and Pa Clinton's. That's what it was, I think. So he read, over 33,000 emails. That was one of the things that she destroyed, or she had somebody else, because she's kind of weak, destroy the computers with hammers, the Blackberries with hammers, the SIM cards with hammers. Several of them, over 33,000 emails. Each one is considered, this belongs to the government. So that would be a crime in itself. And she would go to jail for just one, and 100 counts of espionage. And so, but no reasonable prosecutor would so he's not a prosecutor, he's the police. No reasonable prosecutor would recommend indicting her. So he would not recommend indicting her, even though he's not the prosecutor. He's just like the police gathering evidence. And he has a press conference like he's God. Then he has another one, because they found more, like 40,000, 48,000 on Wiener's laptop, the one that was sending out pictures of his to like 15-year-old girls. And that was so nice. That was so sweet. These Democrats, they get nobler and nobler as time goes on. Anyway, so Mueller, who spent much longer than Comey, much longer than the FBI. It was actually a short period of time. They were able to find all this evidence. It was like a month or two. It was ridiculously short. And they found all this evidence. That's amazing. And then he found more evidence and had another press conference because in front of the congregation, because he's St. Thomas back at. Anyway, so then Mueller, now they're saying 35 million. I said before it's north of 50 million. It kind of goes up as time goes on. It keeps going up the amount of money that's ours that they used for this bogus investigation. Bit from Politico's take on the WAPO op-ed by Comey. This is what Matthew Choi wrote. Apparently, you can tell he's a Hillary Obama supporter. James Comey, the former FBI director and frequent presidential punching bag, there you go, derided President Donald Trump on Tuesday for perpetrating what he called dumb lies about the Bureau and the origins of the Russia investigation. There was no corruption. This is Comey, or St. Thomas Becket. There was no corruption. There was no treason. There was no attempted coup, Comey wrote in the Washington Post op-ed. Those are lies, and dumb lies at that. Very good. There were just good people trying to figure out what was true under unprecedented circumstances. I won't read you the whole thing, but let's get to the bottom here. The end. There's one more quote, but I won't read that one. We must call out his lies, that the FBI was corrupt and committed treason, that we spied on the Trump campaign and tried to defeat Donald Trump, Comey wrote. We must constantly return to the stubborn facts. God, I love that. Comey wants to return to the stubborn facts. So Mueller didn't find any evidence. And the funny thing, Manafort, Paul Manafort, who they put in solitary confinement. Wait a minute, I gotta put my glasses on so I can see the button here. I gotta watch that button there. Paul Manafort worked with Tony Podesta in this firm, public relations firm. They worked together. And it's funny that, and they worked with Russia, right? Russians, Putin. And it was Manafort that was put into solitary confinement and indicted and, lost all his money, just like Corsi and Stone, they all lost all their money. And, you see, that's the thing. Tony Podesta, wasn't his brother was Hillary's campaign manager? So that's really kind of funny why they wouldn't indict him for having connections with Russia and having unsavory business practices, as they found with Manafort. That's really funny. I don't know why. Oh, yeah. Mueller said that he didn't find any evidence to indict and you cannot indict a sitting president, is what he said. That's the reason why he couldn't indict him, because under the laws of the DOJ, you can't indict a sitting president. So the question begs, why did you do this investigation that cost the American taxpayers probably north of $50 million? I'm going to guess by the end of this, we're going to find out that the number keeps going up and up and up. You know, they didn't order pizzas every day for lunch. I'm sure they didn't. That you can't, so what is the point? That's the reason why he didn't find any evidence? Or did he find evidence? See, that doesn't stop him from finding evidence. I mean, that was his job, is to find evidence of collusion or obstruction. Now it's changed to obstruction. But you see, there would have to be evidence that he found anyway. Even if you can indict the president, he should have evidence. Except the only things that he found were crimes that had, by other people, that had nothing to do with Trump-Russia collusion or Trump obstructing justice by firing Comey, and then Comey leaked government documents to the press, which is against the law, and he should be indicted for that. But he's good friends with Mueller, who presided over who was FBI director during the Uranium One scandal when Hillary was a part of that group that decided to sell 20% of our finite uranium supply to Putin, and uranium is used to make nuclear bombs. And then shortly after that, he tells us that he has the father of all bombs. We have the mother of all bombs. He has the father of all bombs. So apparently he used that uranium. And then right after that sale, illegal uranium sale, she got $150 million, and the Clinton Foundation that only gives like 1% to charity, as we found out. And then Bubba Bill got $500,000 for his birthday, speaking fees. You probably, they said happy birthday, and he said thank you very much, something like that. So he didn't, Mueller, who was the FBI director, didn't let that go through and look the other way when that happened. And that was legal to do. And it was sold to Putin, who gave Hillary all that money. And so he looked the other way, and then Comey let Hillary off. The funny thing is that in this country, it used to be innocent until proven guilty. At least I thought that. It was supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Except Mueller said, and he emphasized today, that though he did not find evidence, he admits there's no evidence. And so we have all this evidence against Hillary and other people who are Democrats, and Comey and Mueller, believe me, they're Democrats. Well, they're hiding all their crimes. The thing about it is this whole thing is they're hiding all their crimes. They're hiding their crimes, and they're hiding crimes for people above them who have more power than they do. That's why when Mueller came out today and he started talking, he stuttered about 12 times. I don't know if you counted it. It was about 12 times that he stuttered. And he was reading it, and he was stuttering, reading it. And he never stuttered before. And then he breathed in deeply a lot as if he had COPD. I don't know if he smokes or not, but it was making me feel real uncomfortable because I have severe asthma. And listening to it makes me feel like, I should be having an asthma attack or something like that. It sounds like he had shortness of breath. He sounds really, really scared. Before, he was really cool because he hadn't done anything wrong yet. I think he realized, somebody told him he did something wrong because he didn't find any evidence, and they know that there is no evidence. But the Democrats are going to look bad now because, well, they already look bad. And the thing about it is we lost, or they stole the midterms because of this. Because people believed, like 43% of the people believed that there was Russia collusion. And they don't even, half the people don't even know that the dossier is fake and was paid for by Hillary Clinton. They don't know that. So a great number of Republican incumbent congresspeople decided not to run again. And usually the incumbent wins. An election favors the incumbent rather than the new person. So with all this and the people out there believing this, for some reason, and the Congress, these Republicans didn't want to run again. So that the bell goes off in my head. Why didn't they want to run again? I know the IQ of the Congress is really low, but it really should be obvious, even to low IQ people like the Congress, that this is fake and the Democrats are just throwing a fit. It's hard for me to believe that they believe that any of this is true. What I think, watching Mueller today, he was so scared. He was so cool before when he was being asked questions. Now he's scared out of his mind and he can barely breathe and he's stuttering. I mean, was it Mel Tillis? Didn't he stutter? Or like Foster Brooks used to stutter. He was an old-time comedian and he used to pretend he was a drunk and he'd stutter and burp all the time. It was kind of reminded me a combination of Mel Tillis and Foster Brooks. But Mel Tillis, he was a country singer. He didn't stutter when he sang. All of a sudden he sang and he wasn't stuttering. So maybe Mueller should have sung this, because this was written down for him and he should have practiced it and sung it and he would have stuttered. It would have been beautiful today. But then again, he couldn't get any air in. He really felt like his lungs were closing up. I mean, I think that these Republicans didn't run again and why we lost the House, it's even more than they believed it, even though we know their IQs are low. I think they're really scared that this is the new way. When the Democrats don't want you in office and they don't like the way an election goes, they will make up a crime and they will get after, even though there's no evidence, they will destroy you. And it isn't like the Democrats haven't done this before. We know in the 2012 election, right before that, there was a thing called the Tea Party. And the Tea Party, Obama effectively painted them all, and it's hard to believe that he would do something like this, as racists, even though Herman Cain belonged to the Tea Party and he was black on both sides, descendant of slaves. His father didn't come from Africa and his mother was an Irish, okay? And there was a lot of African Americans that belonged to the Tea Party. So it couldn't be race. It was just people who wanted to get back to the ideals of this country, of the founding fathers. So what he did was he sicked the IRS, Lois Lerner, who should be in jail, sicked the IRS after the Tea Party and any conservative group. So they couldn't get their politicians out. They couldn't get the word out but what's going on in Washington is wrong, and this is the way America was founded, the freedoms, our rights, our life and liberty. It's kind of a very libertarian thing in a way, the Tea Party. Needless to say, the word couldn't get out, the truth couldn't get out. And the media, we know, is wholly owned by liberal entities. In fact, it's owned by 6 liberal corporations. that's the reason why they're all spotting out the same agenda, because the people who own these big corporations want a certain candidate in office. So whatever laws that are passed favor these really big corporations. And it's funny because the Democrats think that, they like the idea, we're going to tax the 1%ers and all that stuff. And that's where we're going to get all the money to do all this socialist crap. Well, whatever laws that are passed are favoring the 1%ers, the people who own all these companies. That's why you're hearing the same news. Didn't used to be like that. It used to be, the law used to be, you couldn't, one person or 6 people couldn't own more than one form of news. That way you could have a lot of different political opinions and a lot of investigative reporting going on. But now there isn't any investigative reporting because the law was changed by Bill Clinton. So in a sense, one person could own all of them. But now we have 6 people. Before it was 500 or 600 people owned all the different media sources. Now it's just down to 6. So these 6 people, 6 corporations, are extremely wealthy, rather than having a little mom and pop news organization or a low budget media source. Now it's huge corporations, because it's only a huge corporation that had the money to buy up all of media. For 6 people to own all the media, in a sense, it's 6 people, 6 corporations owning all the media, and it's their agenda. See, they buy the candidate by spitting out lies. So that's how Obama got elected again, because there was no news source that was going to say the truth. There wasn't an opposing party like a new Tea Party that would get on camera or get on the debate stage and start telling you the truth. They didn't want that, so they shut them down. Their goal is to monopolize Trump's time while he's in office. So he is an ineffective president, and he doesn't have time to investigate them. Notice how today Nadler said, "How dare you?" They wanted all the Mueller report. There's 1.5% that wasn't released. And by law, the law the Congress passed said that certain information that was held by grand jury cannot be released. It was their law. So they wanted Barr to break the law and let it come out. So Trump said, okay, I'll play their game. I'm going to let out all the documents. So they're going crazy. So they're losing their minds because they don't want this to come out. And Nadler says, oh, how dare he do that? How dare how dare he be transparent and give you everything? Because then we will see everything and we'll find out what the truth is. And he wants them to put out the truth. But they said, you can't do that to us. We will go through your life, your entire life, every page of your life, and every page of your family's life. We will put them all in jail, but we will not give you any information from us, because you're not allowed to investigate us. 3 branches: executive, judicial, and legislative. And the Congress is 1/2 of one branch. It's like the Congress, because they stole the election, has more power than the president has, which is crazy. And the president has certain privileges given to him by the Constitution where he can fire. See, the FBI director serves at the pleasure of the president. So he could fire Comey, which Hillary would have done on the first day. There's all these, he could fire Mueller because he's working for the DOJ. You know, he was working for the DOJ. He could have fired everyone on his team and said, look, Mueller, you hire half of the people are pro-Trump and half the people are against, for Hillary and Obama. He could have done something like, but he didn't. He didn't touch Mueller's investigation. He said, as we would have said, is there any way that we could stop this investigation? Because he knows he's innocent. We know he's innocent because Mueller did not find any evidence, and if he did, we would have known about it. We know that he didn't ask for another FISA court warrant to investigate and spy any further. 3 months into the investigation, he was done with the investigation. He knew then that Trump was innocent. He knew before he got into this that Trump was innocent. So, and Trump knows that Trump is innocent. So, wouldn't you say, is there any way you can stop this investigation? Now, Mueller, Peter Strzok used to work for Mueller. And then all those, see, the Democrats don't even know about this, that those 40, 50,000 text messages were released between Peter Strzok and, Peter Strzok, who said in one of the text messages, I want Hillary to win 100 million to 0. He sounds really smart. And then he sent that to his lover, horse-faced girlfriend that he was cheating on his wife with. By the way, I love horses. I think they're beautiful, so that's not an insult. But Mueller didn't ask him, while he was under oath, any questions about him being, impartial or not biased. Are you really, sounds like you're kind of biased in one direction, because he said, if he wins, we have to take out an insurance policy, which was the dossier, which Hillary paid for, which most of the country doesn't even know that she paid for. And that whole thing was a hoax. And all the FISA warrants, and according to McCabe, under oath, Andrew McCabe, because Strzok and his horse-faced girlfriend, which I think horses are beautiful, were in his office, talking about how to take down Trump. So he didn't ask him any questions, why did you say this? It sounds like you're biased. Of course he couldn't ask him any of these questions because Mueller hired him and only fired him when it came out. And if you watch one of my previous videos, the plot to exonerate Hillary Clinton, it was about 1.5 years ago I put that out. It was all the information on how Admiral Mike Rogers found this out, that Trump was being spied on. And that's when Trump moved his campaign to Trump Towers. They knew this back then. And this is why Trump came out and said that Obama was spying on him, because he actually knows that he was being spied on. You see, the thing about all this is that we have the NSA. And the NSA, see, Bill Binney used to work for the NSA, and he was a whistleblower, and he's honest, but you can look him up, Bill Binney, he's on the web. In fact, the Jimmy Dore show, Jimmy Dore interviewed him, and Bill Binney said that they all know that Trump was not working with Russia, and to haul in Donald Trump Jr. was absolutely ridiculous and ask him all these questions. If Donald Trump Jr., he went to meet with that Russian honeypot, well, he wouldn't have needed to. I thought right away he would need to meet with that Russian honeypot if Trump was working with Putin. That's ridiculous. He wouldn't need to do that. That kind of proves that he wasn't working with Russia. And then she met with Fusion GPS after that. The Hillary campaign after that. I mean, before and after meeting with Donald Trump Jr., she met with Fusion GPS. Bill Binney said, this is how the NSA knows. They can tell who you're communicating with by the amount of time it takes for the information to get from one place to another. Say if Trump was talking to Russia, talking to Putin, they know the time it takes, the signal, how long it takes to get from Putin, wherever Putin is, to Trump or the Trump campaign. And they can tell by that amount of time whether he is speaking to someone in Russia. Plus, anything you do on the web, everything is in packets. So whatever you do on the web, if you talk to Putin, there's a packet that gets attached. Okay, you talk to Putin. It goes into, it's just like a file folder. It goes into this file folder. Everything you do on the web and everyone you contact, everyone you talk to goes into this file folder. There's nothing on the web that you do that is hidden, no matter, they even know all your aliases. Even if you change your aliases, I'm going to use a different name on Skype. They know. They even know your aliases. It's absolutely ridiculous. We can even find out what your aliases are on the computer. It's unbelievable. So you can't even do that. So they know. And Obama changed the law to make it was like one step, then he made it 2 steps. So by making it 2 steps from you, everything you do, and then everything that other person does, once you make it that extra step, you have the right to connect you with the entire world. Everyone in the world can get spied on. It gives the okay to connect everyone in the world, because that one person, you and that one person are connected to these other people, and these other people are connected to these other people, and so on and so on and so on. So Obama did that. He made that so technically you could connect the whole world. So they know, the NSA knows absolutely everything. And Mueller, a special prosecutor, could get all that information. So they know all of this is bullshit. This whole thing is bullshit. And they know it's bullshit. They don't even need to investigate. They just go to the NSA and they say, let me look at, they say call it a packet, but let me see the file folder. And they can see everything. So this is bullshit. Now, the question remains, what do we do about it? How do we stop this? We, the American people who want America to stay America, what do we do? We have to find the people that are movable. The people that will listen. I know an awful lot of very intelligent people that won't listen. No matter what you say, they'll argue with you. They're listening to the wrong news. They're too busy with their professional work to know the truth. But you've got to find people that are movable. And you have to get the truth out. You have to show them, you have to make sure your sources are good. They're good, really good sources. And show them your research. Show them good links on the web. Show them, let them research this. Say, look, just for the benefit of the doubt, I know you hate me, or you hate me because I've revealed to you that I'm for Trump. And if it's wrong, then you can prove to me that it's wrong. Let me show you some sources. And then you can investigate this yourself. And even show them sources about the media owning. Basically, the media is owned by 6 corporations when it used to be owned by about 600 different people. And now you're beholden to the 1%ers, the big corporations. That's why they're not doing the work of the people. That's the reason why the infrastructure in this country is crumbling. As our Congress and our politicians and Hollywood, everyone is preoccupied in taking down Trump, we're paying them. And what they're doing is trying to figure out how to take down Trump. That's all they're doing. They're not helping us. Isn't there something wrong with this picture? There are people suffering all over this nation. Our infrastructure is crumbling. We need help. We're paying them. They're obsessed with this. What exactly is Trump doing that is bad? You might want to ask, what exactly is he doing? Has he done that is bad? This is what he's done, and then show him the proof. And if they say something like, well, Obama, it's Obama's, anybody who knows economic knows that it takes so many years for things to change. Well, Obama told us that when we were prosperous, that was just an illusion. That was just this phase. But now we're getting back to normalcy. And that Trump, well, he said he was going to bring all these jobs back. I don't know how he's going to do that. These jobs are gone and they're not going to come back. Where he said all that stuff and Trump brought all these jobs back and he changed everything. We see, if Obama was doing this stuff, I guess he was so magical that he didn't realize, even though he didn't believe in his own magic, he said the opposite spell, the negative spell. Somehow the opposite happened because a spell is words, right? And his words were, this ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. And, he kept that border open and flooding, which is only making us poorer because we have to pay for all these people. Okay, but see, they don't understand that. So he didn't realize how magical he was. He would have to be magical, and his spells have to be working the opposite of what he says. That's how ridiculous and ludicrous that Obama actually did this, okay? But aside from that, all this information, you're gotta get out to somebody. Everybody out there, even if you reach one person, everybody hearing my voice, reach one person, and that one person will say, hey, try to reach more than one person. But if you got one person and they say, hey, they can open up and reach, I voted for Hillary, I voted for Obama, and look at the evidence I have. This is how things can change. This is just reach out and do it. If we don't do this, our country's going under. Our politicians are obsessed with this. This is what we're paying them for. They're not helping us. They're not going to help us. Our bridges are going to fall. I walked under a bridge, an overpass. The thing is being held up by wooden piers. They had to, and this town I live in is a prosperous town, and that's about to collapse. And the overpasses in all my town, the entire town is about to collapse. And it's going to happen. Everything is going to fall, and of course they're going to blame Trump. But what are they doing, and what are they working on? They're working on trying to take down Trump instead of working for the people. There's something wrong with this. This is what you've got to get out. Every person reach someone, and that someone has got to reach someone, and then maybe we can get enough people that will vote the right people in and keep Trump. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, he's owed another term because you've monopolized his time and taken our money. He's owed another term. He's owed 2 more terms. He should win 4 more years, and he should get another 4 more years. That's because of what they've done, because of the crime. This is a crime, what they've done. And it's only you. It's me and it's you. We're the only ones who can change this. It's the little people. It's the voters that have got to reach out and open people's eyes. The movable. Your job. Go find the movable. Good night.
Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. I have seen him in the watchfires of 100 circling camps. They have gilded him an altar in the evening news and dance. I can read his righteous sentence by the dim and flaring lamps.